Ex-girlfriend asked for open marriage. She's homeless now. My ex-girlfriend showed up at my door begging to move back in. She's now claiming the open marriage request was a joke that my brother told her to play on me. I asked him, my brother, he says no. He's never said such a thing like that to her and doesn't even see the humor in something like that. Her Ash is homeless and texting me about finding local women's shelters so she can have a bed to sleep in. My ex moved into my apartment in January of this year. We dated since junior year in high school. I currently work full time and attend trade school part time. She's already pissed me off twice. Once because she's too flirty with my coworker who comes over to play cards, and two because she lied about going to work. She was leaving acting like she was going to work but would call off, come home and fall asleep and leave before I got home. I caught her because she didn't know I was leaving work early. I didn't tell her, and I got home and she was knocked out in the bed. And she initially started to lie and was going to say that she was feeling ill, so she left work early. But in the middle of the lie, she said, okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm tired of working. I've been calling off for a few days. I just don't want to go in. I don't want to work. I said, so you've been pretending to leave the apartment, acting as if you're going to work, but you were coming back home. She says, yes, she goes down to Tim Hortons and eats Timbits and milk, and then she'd come back to the apartment and go to sleep. She said she's just been extremely tired lately. It scared me a little bit because before we had a pregnancy scare, but she's been on birth control, so that wasn't it. I was pretty upset about that. Why lie? She could have just told me, hey, I don't want to go to work, and I'm going to take off a few days and stay home. I would not have said anything. I would have been like, okay, cool. I'm sure you'll still have your half of the rent. Or even if she didn't. Let's just say, hey, I'm not going to have my end. Can you cover my part or whatever? I would have done it. I think that's okay. In a relationship or a marriage, it's not always 50-50 or you pay everything all the time. If someone's down, it's okay for the other one to pick them up. And I tried to explain that to her, but all she would tell me was, I just don't want to work at all. I told her right now that's just not feasible. We both need to be working. We want to be comfortable. She started going back to work. She worked a retail job. The not wanting to work didn't end there. My ex wrote this long letter that I still have, confessing her love to me, only to then ask if she could be a stay-at-home girlfriend, and she'll make sure I'm pleased in every way. She told me she'll never turn down sex when I want it, and I have unlimited BJs. I'll attach the letter. Let's see this letter. Do you remember the first day that we met? I was rushing to calculus, and I dropped my calculator. When I got to class and realized that it was gone, I was devastated. Though I had written my name and number on the inside, I didn't really think anyone would return it. When you called later that day, I was pleasantly surprised. That was the beginning of a beautiful friendship and of so much more. That same honesty, that same candid nature that I felt in you from the very beginning has made getting to know you the best thing that has ever happened to me. At that time, I was at a point in my life where my faith in humanity was pretty low. You helped me to see the goodness that can still be found in people, and I will be forever grateful for your influence in my life. You have such a great attitude. Your world is full of rainbows and sunbursts. You're gentle and kind. I love the awe and reverence that you feel for nature, like it's a part of you, and you're a part of it. You have such an appreciation for little things that most people wouldn't even notice. Butterfly wings and ladybug spots, the scent of myriad wildflowers, the morning dew on tiny blades of mountain grass. You're so smart, even if you don't like calculus. The world is an infinite puzzle that you delight in trying to solve. I've never met anyone that I could talk to so easily about anything and everything. I trust you with things I've never shared with another soul, and I know that you keep them close to your heart. Before I met you, I couldn't imagine living my life with just one person. Now I can't imagine my life without you. The idea of one day without you is painful to think about. Before I knew you, forever was something I had heard about, but something I couldn't fathom. Now I know that we are supposed to be together, and no matter where I am, as long as I'm with you, that's where I want to be. You are my life, my heart, my soul. Because of you in my world, in my arms, I have everything, and I can't imagine what I'd do without you. I promise you that I will spend the rest of my life devoted to making you happy, committed to the eternal joy we will find together. I love you and I need you. You complete me. You're a part of every fiber of my being, and you're constantly on my mind. You must be exhausted, always running through my thoughts by day and in my dreams by night. I know you're strong enough to carry both of us. I think you know that I can handle the apartment, keeping it clean, every meal cooked fresh. You know that when it comes to our sexy time, the build-up matters. Anticipation is the key to keeping things hot and spicy between us. This is one of your greatest strengths, lover. Also, I really appreciate you for knowing when to back off. If I'm feeling tired or sad or overwhelmed or mad, for knowing when to stop the teasing and the relentless pursuit of sexy time when sexy time is not what I want at that particular moment. Thank you for reading me and respecting me and making me dinner instead of making me turn you down. You know I don't want to turn you down, lover, but when my head isn't right, the sexy time is just going to be a going through the motions time. And who wants that? We don't want that. I promise you. If you allow me to be a stay-at-home girlfriend, there will never be a time when I'm too tired to have sexy time. I don't care about the time. I will keep your royal sausage clean, Your Highness. Let me know what you think. I got home the day she gave me that letter. She made me promise not to read until my lunch break. I did. I got home and she asked, "Did you read the letter? You never texted me today." I said yes, I read it, and no thank you. I'm not in a position to take care of another adult right now. Once I'm done with school, then of course we can. But for now, well, no. She called me a piece of crap. Said I didn't love her because if I did, I'd take care of her. I reminded her that she has a father. Maybe you should talk to him about being an adult, so stay at home, child. That was the last I heard of it. Around May of this year, I started inviting my buddy over from work to come play cards. He'd bring another girl from work that he actually was trying to date. Not sure if they actually hit it off or not, but he'd tell me things about her, but I'm not too sure where they are today. But anyway, I remember my ex. The first time he came over, complimented him. So she answered the door, and I was still in the back room, but I could hear pretty clear. My apartment, not big. She says, "Oh, you're Jacob, you're handsome." I thought, who does this? What are you talking about? You're not talking about my nephew or something. This is my coworker friend. Who is my age calling him handsome? I just found that rude. I didn't confront her right there, but I confronted her after. And even when we were all playing cards, we started before the other lady came over. She was running behind. My ex-girlfriend was flirting with Jacob, wanting to see his tattoos, and he said he had one on his chest and she wanted to see it. I said, "No, you do not take your shirt off at my house, sir." He laughed it off and said, "I wasn't going to take my shirt off. Who you think I am?" But my ex was clearly flirting with him, and she had the hots for him. That really pissed me off, man. I had a long talk with her afterwards. I told her it was disrespectful to be calling him handsome, and it was disrespectful that she was all over and rubbing on his arms, wanting to see his chest and everything. She says, "Are you jealous? What are you afraid you're going to lose me?" "Maybe you should put a ring on my finger then." I said, "So you can disrespect me with the ring on your finger. That'll make things worse." She just called me a jerk and stormed off to the bedroom that night. I did try to get some. She told me no, absolutely not. "Maybe if you make me a stay at home." She stopped right there, didn't even finish. She knew I wasn't trying to hear that again. Last time she brought that up, I kind of snapped on her a little bit. So let me speed up to the beginning of August. My now ex-girlfriend comes to me after work. We both got home in the evening and we had ordered food. We were sitting there waiting for it. She just said to me, I got a question for you. I said, yeah, what's the question? By the way, I had an attitude because I was not in a good mood. I had a bad day that day. She says, what if I suggested that we have an open relationship? Now, hear me out. You get to sleep with whoever you want as long as you use protection and you don't fall in love. This is just so we can explore our options a little more, but not leave each other, because clearly we love each other. I walked right past her and went straight to the room. I can hear her yapping. Oh my gosh, you're so silly. Never want to talk. You're so immature. Why can't we have an adult conversation? Whatever, forget I even asked. Hey, the food is here. When I came back to the living room, I had most of her clothes packed in the garbage bag. I drug it out to the front and threw it out my front door. I told her to get the F out of my apartment. She can take her container of food I just bought for her. I don't care, but she needs to leave, and I'll have the rest of her things out in a few days. You can come back and get them. She's telling me where am I going to go? My parents just moved to Massachusetts, you idiot. I don't have anyone here. All of my family is back home in Massachusetts. I said that's not my problem. Buy a ticket back home. Take a Greyhound. I don't care you're not living with me anymore. We're done. This woman stood in my living room crying, saying I was being silly. She told me, listen, I'll take my food and I'll sit here to eat on the porch. When I come back, hopefully you're cooled off. Forget what I asked. Okay, I love you. She came up and she kissed me on the head while I was sitting there eating. She went outside and she ate her container of plants, rabbit food, on the porch. I got up, I locked the screen door, and I locked the main door. She was banging on the door. Let me in. What are you doing? I did not let her in. She freaking called the police on me. I answered the door for the police and they are asking me, what's going on? Is there a domestic dispute? Why am I putting her out? I said, because this is my apartment. She's not on the lease and I don't want to live with her anymore. She can go and live with her parents or family. Officer says, come on, bub, stop being childish. Does she sleep here? X screams. My family is in Massachusetts. You dipshish, you know this. I told the officer she is not coming back in here. I don't care where she goes, but she's not staying with me. She has friends. You can call one of her friends, stay with them. She's not living with me. The officer is asking me why I don't want her living with me. I refuse to answer the officer's questions. Get upset with me asking me to step outside the house. Absolutely not. He's asking me for my ID and everything I said, sir. I'm not under arrest. I'm going to slowly shut my door and lock it. He allowed me to do so. Then the cop knocked on the door again. I didn't answer, and he says, can you at least put her clothes back inside and she'll come back and get them? She found a place to stay. I said, absolutely, that's fine. The cop was waiting for me to walk out and grab the clothes. I said, absolutely not. You can hand them to me, or I'll grab them when you guys leave. What are you afraid of, sir? Why don't you want to step out of the house? I didn't and shut my door again. This cop was weird. I think he was trying to arrest me. I don't know, maybe pat me down and see if I had anything on me. I don't know what she told him. I do smoke, but I don't keep bags of green in my pocket. They eventually did leave. But man, I was terrified to step out of that door and grab those clothes. I left them there overnight. I grabbed them in the morning. She texted me and told me she could stay with her coworker for a couple days, but she needs to come back home and I need to stop being silly. I reminded her that I was serious and I don't play games. This is when she told me that my brother is the one that told her to do this. I said, do what? She told me that my little brother dared her to ask me for an open marriage just as a prank. I didn't believe her, but I still asked my brother anyway. And yeah, she was lying. My ex texted and called me every day. Please stop doing this. I don't have a place to stay. I called my parents and they told me to buy my own tickets to come home. Apparently, her parents are mad at her because she didn't want to go to college. She went. She just dropped out. They told her since she wanted to be an adult, she needs to figure things out on her own. I know she was supposed to be staying with a coworker for a couple days, but after that, I don't know where she's been staying at. She came to my apartment and she was at the back door, begging me to let her in. She looked a little odd, as if she hadn't showered in a while. I don't know if she's actually staying on the street or not. I almost opened the door. I kind of felt bad and thought maybe I was being a little too harsh, but something kept me from doing that. I did not let her in. She is asking me, do I have any numbers to homeless shelters? I said I've never been homeless. Why would I have numbers to a homeless shelter? She asked all these ridiculous questions. She can't hear me through the glass. I'm not gonna open the door so you can run through here. You look disgusting. I told my brother the situation. He thought it was hilarious, couldn't believe I did that. He never liked my ex-girlfriend anyway. Some part of me wonders if he did put her up to this, but he swears to me he never told her to ask me that. He would never do that, but I will say he never liked my ex-girlfriend. They actually physically fought in high school. My brother was a freshman and we were sophomores. Totally different story though. So right now I don't know where my ex-girlfriend is right now. She could be living with someone. She could be sleeping under a bridge, but I haven't blocked her. She still texts me every morning. Hope your day is going well. I hope you find it in your heart to take me back and forgive me. She's shown up at my apartment countless times and I have not allowed her in. Oh, I forgot. One time I came home from work and she was sitting on my porch crying. She stood up and said, "Look at me. Look at me." Her hair was so unkempt, her breath smelled. I told her just get a ticket and go home. She says, "I'm not going to Massachusetts. I live here. I grew up here. I'm not even familiar with that place." I said, "But your family is there." Her father moved here when she was young. He's military. Was one other place before coming here in high school. She stayed here. I was talking to my brother and he told me maybe I should let her move back in and just use her for sex, cause I was talking about how it had been a while and I kind of gotten used to the in-house kitty, and he was telling me, well, just let her come back and use her for that. Tell her that she can't turn you down and whatever you say goes, and maybe she'll go for it. Like, if I let her back in, it'll be a matter of time before she gets back at me. She's gonna try to get some type of revenge or something on me. I don't want to deal with that.
Dang, dude. Savage. Now, seriously, you did the right thing, ending it. Locked her out the house. Oh my gosh. That police officer, I don't know, man. I think he was trying to get you out there to tackle you to the ground. You know what's crazy? If anybody remembers my story, I told my story back in 2018, right? And I posted it again. It's on the other channel. It's on the main channel. It's there. But there was an incident too where I don't think now that I think about it, I don't think I told this part of the story in the original story. But I did mention it in other stories. But anyway, what happened was I was trying to get my things out of the house and I wasn't allowed in. I was not allowed in. Police came and they told me there's nothing we can do. I had mail coming they didn't let me in, guys. It was ridiculous. Notice in his story, girlfriend calls the police. "Well, I sleep here." "Sir, you need to stop being childish and let her come in." No, because if it was the other way around, they'd be telling him he needs to find a place to stay. She doesn't feel safe. This man didn't feel safe. OP didn't feel safe with his girl being there. That cop got upset. He was acting kind of simpish. He got upset. "How dare you kick a woman out?" I don't know if he found her attractive or what it was, but he was trying to arrest. I bet you he was going to arrest OP and tell the girlfriend to go in there and go to sleep. Stay as long as you want. He's going to be in jail. He would have been in there getting her back broke. She probably was doing that when she was staying home, going to, what was it, Tim Hortons. And she was coming back home probably cheating. No, I'm just coming home to go to sleep. Can I be a stay-at-home girlfriend? No, you cannot. You cannot. Guys, let me know what you think about this in the comments. Ugh. If you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, I'll put it on the screen. That's truestorynation@gmail.com. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one. I'll put it in the description as well.